Are we ready for another chapter? Oh, here's more. Come on in. Great. So welcome to the chapter a day. Even though we don't say meet every day with the chapter, but there's a possibility of that on the website, on the Urtext A Course in Miracles website. But it's great to go through the chapters. It's like today, chapter 28. And chapter 28 is like a real fundamental chapter that if you do A Course in Miracles, you never miss this chapter, because it's about the undoing of fear. And that's so great, the undoing of fear, like that's the title. And of course you're looking for that. It's like, yeah, if there's a way to get rid of fear, yeah, absolutely. Because I'm afraid quite a bit. When I walk this earth, I'm not sure about anything. And see, that's the first instant that you hear about the undoing of fear. That's very attractive, since fear is something that you walk around with like all day long. As you describe yourself as a human being, you're in fear. You're in fact the embodiment of fear. And you're not completely conscious of that, but all the time. When you start doing A Course in Miracles, for instance, of starting your spiritual path, you're not fully aware that you're constantly in fear, as you see yourself as a separate body walking around in a universe full of bodies and stars and planets and all that, all separate entities, separate ideas. So this is quite a step, and it's very attractive to hear about, say, the undoing of fear. It's like, oh yeah, if there's something I can do about that fear, that would be great. But the undoing of fear is very personal, in the sense of the undoing of fear is completely related to you as you describe yourself. So in fact, the undoing of fear is the undoing of how you see yourself. And that's not something that you can do. Yeah, that's a bummer, indeed. Yeah, no, sorry. Yep, it is just the way it is. Like now, the way you describe yourself, you cannot correct yourself. Yeah, okay. Let me start over. Whatever you taught yourself, forget about it. Oh, you don't want to do that either. Now, how am I going to present this today then? So the undoing of fear is not in your hands. It's like, no, you're in fact the mistake in itself. You're the mistake of the universe, as you describe yourself at least. So what else is there to experience than you being a mistake in this universe, doing everything wrong and, say, feeling guilty about it all and being afraid of the next day or what happened yesterday even. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, this is your world. You created it. Anything can attack you at any moment. Bridges can collapse. Meteors can just crash down into the earth. Well, you know the whole scenario with all the fear fragments. Countries might, say, fight against other countries. Bombs might be thrown, shellings, and who knows what. In the meantime, your bank account might be emptied out by some kind of hack or who knows what. So I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but it is like, oh my God, how am I going to live in this place? How am I supposed to do that? And it's like, yeah, that's a good question. How are you going to do that? If everything is in fact an embodiment of fear, if you describe yourself the way you do, if you really think that you're a human being on planet Earth with another, say, 7 billion people, then there's a lot of threat, there's a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of chaos. So now what you're going to do? So chapter 28 tells you, in fact, exactly where you can count on and what the undoing of fear entails. Like, what is this exactly? Where is this about? And what do I need in order for that to happen? Like, how can I come to know myself is really the question. How am I doing that? Like, how am I supposed to be myself? Is not what I think I am what I am? No. No, you're not. So there's an say, you were created in a way that has nothing to do with fear or limitation. And when you realize that, you also realize that you have overcome this world, that you have nothing to do with this world, that in fact your, say, whole mind is a Christ mind, is the mind that was in Jesus Christ and is still in Jesus Christ, just as it is in you. So now still it's a bit like, yeah, okay, I don't get it completely. Now what do I need to get there? What do I need? Well, there's a couple of things you can do is, for instance, say resigning as your own teacher. That's one thing. Resigning as your own teacher, not giving yourself advice about what to do or how to respond to anything. Say letting go of any kind of definition that you hold about yourself. In fact, looking inside instead of thinking that something from outside can have an effect on you, recognizing you as the cause of all that you see and all that terrifies you. So these are a couple of steps that you take. But see, the most important part is that you need new experiences of yourself. You need new experiences that tell you actually about the truth of you. And the new experiences have nothing to do with your definitions. So your patterns, habits, definitions, and all of that needs to be out of the way in order, say, for your mind to open up. Now, we call this, in fact, like becoming miracle-minded or open-minded. And when I say we, it's like the ones that are actually practicing this, the ones that have moments of, say, experiencing the miracle, experiencing that there's a whole alternative to this, what you have taken as your world, as your definition of yourself and your definition of your brother, and every occurrence in it. So the miracle is in fact a way you can rely on. And the miracle is in fact that which tells you a lot about yourself, because it actually brings you an experience that is not of this world. It literally takes you out of your construct, takes you out of the time order, takes you out of the sequence of time as you have defined it, and place all your memories in, like yesterday, 2 days, 6 weeks ago, it was my birthday, I'm now 100 years old, and all this. It's like you place everything into a time frame which has no reality. So the miracle literally takes you out of this time frame for just a moment and bring you into a sphere that has nothing to do with this world, but has everything to do with you, with the truth of you. Like it's literally with your mental capacity and all the intelligence, if we would say brush it all together and pile it up and apply it to find a way out of this construct that we're in, we would not be able to do that. Not with all of the intelligence in the world, you would be able to do that. But here's the miracle. And the miracle is literally that what is always with you. It's not that it sometimes falls out of the sky and happens to you. No, this is your practice, is the miracle. It's always available. It is up to you to open up for it, to give space in your consciousness for that occurrence, but it will be immediately there. It's not by your control, but it is definitely present with you. And it reminds you of a lot of things, really essential to actually come into a deep experience of yourself. Now, I compiled a bit like a 4-minute video with the miracle expressions, like some miracle expression, because there's so many in chapter 28, it continuously brings you back, like the miracle does this, the miracle does this, it brings you back to this, the miracle is this. And why specifically in chapter 28 there are so many expressions about the miracle? Because it's literally your way out of fear. It helps you to be undone, and it brings you into a sphere of celestial order. In this order you are perfect is one of the miracle principles. It's like, in this order you are perfect. That's why they heal. The miracles heal. So if you open up for it and say, allow yourself to be taken out of this time frame for just a moment, shifting into a vertical alignment, into an invisibility where the body is completely absent, you enter into a light constellation frequency, whatever you want to call it, and that is the reason why it heals, why miracles heal. Healing what? Well, healing that what you thought you were, but never were in the first place. Bringing back into your consciousness the truth of you. Showing you that you're the dreamer of the dream, and that the dream in itself is not a fact at all. No. The miracle does nothing. All it does is to undo, and thus it cancels out the interference to what has been done. The miracle but shows the past is gone, and what is truly gone has no effects. The miracle reminds you of a cause forever present, perfectly untouched by time and interference, never changed from what it is. In quietness, see in the miracle a lesson in allowing cause to have its own effects, and doing nothing that would interfere. The miracle comes quietly into the mind that stops an instant and is still. It reaches gently from that quiet time, and from the mind it healed in quiet then to other minds to share its quietness. The miracle does not awaken you, but merely shows you who the dreamer is. The miracle establishes you dream a dream, and that its content is not true. The miracle does nothing but to show him that he has done nothing. The miracle is the first step in giving back to cause the function of causation, not effect. The miracle is not a separate thing that happens suddenly as an effect without a cause, nor is it in itself a cause. But where its cause is, must it be. The miracle alone is your concern at present. Here is where we must begin. This is great. All right. Pressing the right buttons, yes. Okay. Wow. So I can play it again, maybe later, I don't know. So I love this because it brings you slowly, say, but certainly into the sphere where this makes total sense. So you start to read the expressions and see them as like totally helpful. That was what happened to me when I made this, or when I say was diving into this, and that's so lovely. Like there's a freshness and an opening up related to it that is so inspiring. So on the EWE-Hub website today, I posted something about, say, a billion ways to contact God. In fact, it's like there are a billion ways to contact God. It's like infinite possibilities to contact God, and contacting God is really, in fact, becoming open to it, say, allowing the miracle to come into your consciousness, and letting your ways go, but also letting your habits go. Always sitting in the same chair meditating, or always with the same book meditating, or who knows what, how your practice is. It's like allow this to be also a creative part in your meditation. So just like I change the backgrounds or change the little videos and do funny stuff in between, you could say, it's not about the form, it's not about, no, it's about you allowing this change to occur even in your practice, in your spiritual practice. And that part is essential. See, the thing with your humanness, you could say, with your human habits, with that, what creates fear, or what makes the fear, is your habitual continuation, perpetuation of the ways that you're used to doing your things. It's like, yeah, no, I'm used to that. I'm always do it like that. Like, that is dead. That's dead, and that is old, you could say. It's like you become old when you do that, because then you have ways of doing this. And the miracle is freshness, fresh inspiration, is fresh manna every day. You have no idea how to come into an experience of the love of God. There's no way that you know how to do that. No, it's like there's a billion ways to step aside. You can step aside, in any kind of way that you want. Say the movement is the same, but you coming to it is different. So what is so important in that? Well, if you stay with your habits, with your habits of doing things, in fact, you're holding on to your human mind, because the human mind is lazy, you could say, loves to automate, loves to do the things the way it is used to doing. And that becomes like not pure, beautiful inspiration, not being freshly open to receive what is coming, or not following instructions the way they are directed to you, because you have your ways in doing it. Then you just miss that. So this is a real essential step in becoming miracle-minded. Means allowing God to come to you in all his ways. Not your ways, but all his ways. And however you can step aside is perfectly all right. Wherever you let that occur. I had examples of in the bus stop, in the supermarket, in the, I don't know, like you mentioned, you tell me, sitting, standing, laying down, jumping in the air, dancing. However you can say release your self-identity, however you can lose yourself in what you are doing, that opens your mind to an experience of God. You know, that's how that works, but it's not your conscious doing. So it is like, now I'm just doing it differently all the time, just to help myself, in fact, to step aside, to get myself out of my habit of my habitual ways of doing things, doing it differently, allowing it to be different, but also doing it differently, using a different book, and being quiet in different ways. So there's an infinite variety of doing that, and it's not about that form in which you do it, no, but it's also not necessary to do it always in the same way. So this is really, really great, and I'm happy that that came to me, because it's always good to remember. So the same then with the way to present this is always different. I have no idea how to present this, but it always comes to me on a daily basis. Every time that I step into it, it is completely different. It's always a surprise to me too, how that comes. And I'm allowing that to be itself. So one of the expressions that we were reading here too was, that we heard was this is, in quietness, I'll make it a different color to make it easier. In quietness, see in the miracle a lesson in allowing cause to have its own effects and doing nothing that would interfere. Now I really love that, because that's exactly what I mean. It's like, in quietness, see in the miracle a lesson in allowing cause to have its own effects. Like in connecting with your source for just a moment, let that have its own, like let it stay with its cause, like just let it have its own effects and do nothing to interfere. Like let that be. And there's one more. Oh yeah, here's one thing that I really love too. That's this one. So I'll come to the other one in a minute. So the miracle is not a separate thing that happens suddenly as an effect without a cause, nor is it in itself a cause. But where its cause is, must it be. It's like it's not a thing that's falling out of the sky. No, if you become miracle-minded, if your mind is open, the miracle can happen to you, because in fact you're ready to receive that. So it's like you're actually connecting with your source, instead of thinking that you're the cause of something. You know, you're not the cause of something. You're the effect of God. You are the effect of God. Now let yourself be that effect then. Don't think that you're the cause of anything. And this is also very important. The miracle comes quietly into the mind that stops an instant and is still. It reaches gently from that quiet time, and from the mind it healed in quiet then, to other minds to share its quietness. Like that deep quietness is really what you recognize in the moment you experience the miracle. Like that is what you give. That is such quietness, but also such certainty that that is what you can share. From chapter 28, The Undoing of Fear, I actually would love to listen to a little part That's also like a chapter in itself, the present memory. Um, Everything is coming back to the idea of cause and effects. It's like letting it be the cause, letting the cause be the cause is everything. So in whatever situation you find yourself, if you think that you're the, say, have to do something with the situation, step back and let the miracle show you. You could say, let the cause have its own effects and don't interfere. Because this interference is where the fear comes in, literally. It's like just like you saw these images in between the miracle expressions are like an interference. Like you see that there's a distortion for a second. There's a distortion in your human mind. You have certain ideas about what you think should happen, and it just distorts, in fact, the moment that is actually given to you. Now, if you want to let everything be perfect, just step aside, let everything fall into place. Even on in your daily life. Like if you step aside, you allow the miracle to do its work. How am I supposed to respond to this situation? Well, how am I supposed to react to this, what is occurring? Because people seem to be attacking me, or I seem to have done something wrong, or whatever it is. Like, no, step aside. Just allow the miracle to happen here. Like, allow the miracle to show the situation for what it is. And you just step aside. So don't interfere with what is going on. Or like another example is this one too. It's like you enter into a situation where say some people are, brothers are joined or are, say, doing something together. You enter into a scene. Now that's the same thing. It's like, don't interfere with your presence. With you, say, stepping in the situation, like, hey, and in fact you interfere with what is going on. While you could, if you step aside and you allow the situation just to be there as it is, you will find your place in it. But then there's no disturbance of the actual scene. You could say, where you step in. So these are just practices, you could say, or possibilities to become aware of the possibility of miracle-mindedness. To become, in fact, present right here and now. So this is what we're going to listen to, the present memory, from chapter 28. Section B, the present memory. The Holy Spirit can indeed make use of memory, for God Himself is there. But this is not a memory of past events, but only of a present state. You are so long accustomed to believe that memory holds only what is past, that it is hard for you to realize it is a skill that can remember now. The limitations on remembering the world imposes on it are as vast as those you let the world impose on you. There is no link of memory to the past. If you would have it there, then there it is. But only your desire made the link, and only you have held it to a part of time where guilt appears to linger still. The Holy Spirit's use of memory is quite apart from time. He does not seek to use it as a means to keep the past, but rather as a way to let it go. Memory holds a message. It receives and does what it's given to do. It does not write the message, nor appoint what it is for. Like to the body, it is purposeless within itself. And if it seems to serve to cherish ancient hate and offer you the picture of injustices and hurts that you were saving, this is what you asked its message be. And this is what it is, committed to its faults. The victory of all the body's past is hidden there. All of the strange associations made to keep the past alive, the present dead, are stored within it. awaiting your command that they be brought to you and lived again, and thus do their effects appear to be increased by time which took away their cause. Yet time is but another phase of what does nothing. It works hand in hand with all the other attributes which you sought to keep concealed the truth about yourself. Time neither takes away nor can restore, and yet you make strange use of it, as if the past has caused the present, which is but a consequence, in which no change can be made possible because its cause has gone. And change must have a cause that will endure, or else it will not last. No change can be made in the present if its cause is past. Only the past is held in memory as you make use of it, and so it is a way to hold the past against the now. Remember nothing that you taught yourself, for you were badly taught. Who would keep a senseless lesson in his mind, when he can learn and can preserve a better one? When ancient memories of hate appear, remember that their cause is gone, and so you cannot understand what they are for. Let not the cause that you would give them now be what it was that made them what they were, or seem to be. Be glad that it is gone, for this is what you would be pardoned from, and see instead the new effects of cause accepted now, with consequences here. They will surprise you with their loveliness. The ancient new ideas they bring will be the happy consequences of a cause so ancient that it far exceeds the span of memory that your perception sees. This is the cause the Holy Spirit is remembered for you when you would forget. It is not past, because he let it not be unremembered. It has never changed, because there never was a time in which he did not keep it safely in your mind. Its consequences will indeed seem new, because you thought that you remembered not their cause. Yet was it never absent from your mind, for it was not your Father's will that he be unremembered by his only Son. What you remember never was. It came from causelessness which you confused with cause. It can deserve but laughter. When you learn you have remembered consequences which were causeless, and could never be effects. The miracle reminds you of a cause forever present. This is, say, the present memory. So you see, there's a lot of sharing about cause and effect, and this is also part, it's like one of the paragraphs is reversing cause and effect. Now you can say like, okay, I got lost here. I don't know what this is about. I totally get it, but it doesn't take away that it is not so difficult to hear what is being shared actually. So I'm going to give it a shot to share that with you. Because, see, everything that you think has happened in the past, you think that really had a cause, right? That's why it happened. Like you were the cause and it had effects. And this is where you build up your guilt and sin ideas. It's like something happened and it had an effect. And so now, see here what is being shared is this, is like, no, that what you thought happened to you had actually no cause, because it was a thought separate from God. So God is your cause, and you're the effect. Now that, in fact, brings you back right away to this present memory, because, and also the miracle, and also, say, the newness of every moment in time, by not defining it what it is, by keeping your mind wide open to actually receive what is given and see it as a possibility to remember God, to experience God, to be in communication with everything, you know, so that's different, right? So now all the occurrences, you could say, if you stay there, if you stay in your miracle mindedness, everything that's occurring has as a source your true source. It's like you're not going to write anything on this. You're not determining anything on what is going to happen in what way and who is involved. Now you keep that totally open. You let everything become a memory of God, in fact. It's like everything becomes the communication with God, and everything fits perfectly into that. No doubt, like no doubt, that's complete because of your, because you are the effect of God. Now, translating that in your daily experience, you could say that it is sufficient for you to practice starting doing, say, the miracle, inviting the miracle into every situation. The miracle being the representation of your complete alternative for the way that you thought you were acting, for the way that you thought that you are, and not, say, holding on to any kind of definition. And in other words, you let every moment be completely new because you know that there's going to be your happiness, not in the way that you describe yourself. I don't know about you, but the way that I've described myself was not making me happy. and every time I try it, I'm still not happy with any kind of definition. So it immediately puts you in a prison. It limits you. And that's why it will never work. And you know this. So there's a sacrifice connected to it. It's like, oh, well, okay, I accept myself as this thingy, this small thingy, or this limited thingy, or this who knows what your description is. But say to allow the miracle to happen brings you into the experience of yourself as you truly are, which is like naturally expansion and communication, fulfillment, happiness. It's like you don't really know what to do with your happiness when you experience that, when you allow that in every moment. The freedom that it brings, that you can't go wrong because you're just like completely dedicated being the expression of cause, just being the effect of it. So yeah, that's in fact where we start, like allowing the miracle in every situation. When you think you have a problem, when you think you enter into a situation, when you think you move or you have no idea how to do anything, now before you want to do anything, allow the miracle. That's the easiest way to say it. It's like before you do anything, just invite the miracle in first. That means let your ideas go about how this should look. Open up your mind for the communication that's always with you and listen. Be still, listen. Let yourself be inspired to get motivated, to get in action. Not trying to figure it out, not trying to make it to something or so, I don't know. It's like, no, this is purely given, and this is your chance. So that's why it said, like in the miracle expressions, it said like, this is the beginning. This is exactly where we begin. We begin with the miracle, because if I allow the miracle to come into any situation, I will never have a doubt that it works. I will never have a doubt that I'm separate from God. And in fact, the undoing of fear takes place. The undoing of my self-definition, of my selfhood, is taking place. It has no ground any longer. I don't want the consequences of it. I don't want to see myself as the source. No, I want to be an effect of God. And this is what I am. So the whole universe is waiting for you to in fact do that. Because you can imagine, it's like being in a repetitive state of doing things the same way, with a, say, forced into a timeline, with an ending point being death, has nothing to do with life. So life does not recognize that. Like God does not recognize that. It can't see it. Knowledge has nothing to do with that. It doesn't recognize it because it's dead. It's like it's already in its definition dead. So that's why it's so great that there's an alternative that inspires you, in fact, in every moment. And you only have to be the effect. Like, yeah, whatever flows through me in that sense, whatever. I have no idea how this is supposed to look or how I'm supposed to function. So that's really lovely. So what's on the program today? So another part that I would love to read to you is, in fact, the daily lesson today. It is a review lesson, but it's very helpful. That's what I discovered. It's like a beautiful, and it fits right in. Okay, I had to do this. Salvation is a decision made already. Attack and grievances are not there to choose. That's why I always choose between truth and illusions, between what is there and what is not there. The light has come. I can but choose the light, for it has no alternative. It has replaced darkness, and the dark is gone. It's like in choosing salvation rather than attack, I merely choose to recognize what is already there. So if I allow the miracles, so to speak, to happen in any situation that I'm in, I am in fact, say, recognizing what is already there. Like the extension of source is already there. So that's so great. So that fits right in with what we were sharing. Attack and grievances are not there to choose. This is literally no option. That's why I always choose between truth and illusions. So this is great. So these would be useful forms for specific application of the idea of today. The light has come. This cannot show me darkness, for the light has come. The light in you is all that I would to see. Name. Yeah, you name anyone. The light in you is all I would see. I would see in this only what is there. Like I want to see what is there. Coming from source, from my source, I would only want to see what is there. This is where the communication takes place. This is how I can come to a God consciousness, to a God communication. This is my prayer, you could say. I would see in this only what is there. I don't want to make anything up around this. I don't want to include like illusions, grievances, and attack thoughts. No, I want to see what is there, not anything else. The light in you is all that I would see, not anything else. I don't care about my ideas about anyone. No, the light in you is what I would see. I'm under no laws but God's. So here's the perfect statement of my freedom. I am under no laws but God's. I am constantly tempted to make up other laws. Like, yeah, you can say like habits, patterns, laws, opinions, all of that stuff. I'm constantly tempted to make up other laws and give them power over me. I suffer only because of my belief in them. They have no real effect on me at all. I am perfectly free of the effects of all laws, save God's. And His are the laws of freedom. So some specific forms of applying the idea. My perception of this shows me I believe in laws which do not exist. My perception of this shows me I believe in laws that do not exist, and this would be a great moment to let them go then. I see only the laws of God at work in this. Let me allow God's laws to work in this, and not my own. Let me allow God's laws of freedom to work in this, not my own laws of limitation. So that's a great lesson. The thing that I do with my ideas is limiting. So I literally put it into a construct, into a prison, and not being happy about it, and it's causing fear. It brings me in a sphere of denial and superficiality, and it has nothing real about it. So letting the experience come from within, oh my God, everything opens up and shifts, and I feel my heart opening up for anyone that I meet, and say my quietness is literally what's communicating from me to everyone. So that is what I give, and then what comes back to me is what that is. So this is great. Like, I really love the chapter 28 in this, in what we're looking at, just because of the fact that it is exactly like put right in the middle of your actions, your non-actions, your consciousness, your patterns, your habits, your fear, your definitions of yourself. Like, it's all being put together. Your ideas, of course, in effect, pointing outside. It's like, no, it's happening here. It's like, this is the place where it actually takes place, not anything outside yourself. And that's so lovely. I love that. That's so great. So there's a lot of healing related to this. In fact, in every chapter, of course. But here it's so much, say, related to the idea of fear, and the idea of self-definition, of a time construct, of believing that the ideas that you walk around with are real. And this is only telling you, no, none of that is real. It never happened. It has no effect, because the cause is in the past. Like, it has no effect on you at all. It was causeless in the first place, because it was coming from fear and attack, and that is an illusion in itself. It simply does not exist, because it is not eternal. So that's really lovely. I love that. I'm going to check time. Oh my God, it is it's so great to sit with you for just a moment and take a look at one chapter and all that comes with it. So thank you so much for your presence in this. And yeah, day 28, here we go. So I'm going to share some music with you, just to stay in this recognition, you could say, of the present moment, and allowing fear to be completely released. Not knowing how to do that, but definitely inviting the miracle into all the situations. Like, there's nothing greater than be surprised by what is occurring. And I mean this in a literal sense. Like, I have no idea what music I'm going to play now, for instance, but I know it will be so perfect because I have nothing to do with it. I'm only, in fact, like, letting that occur. I'm inviting the miracle to happen in this. I have no idea how that's going to look. And say, to allow that flow and allow that to be your practice, you see only the confirmation that that's right. It's like, wow, how is that possible? How well timed, how beautiful that falls into place. Yes, I have no interference with it. I'm just allowing that to happen. And I have no idea how to do that. And it is not under my conscious control. But it's coming to me. It's given to me. And it's shared. So beautiful. So thank you so much for being part of this. And the light in you is all I want to see. So thank you so much and see you soon.